Hello everyone! We will be doing programming tonight, so I hope you're up for that. Quick note, I went onto the Patreon page and I really adjusted the rewards. I wasn't happy with the way they were. I'm much happier with them now. I've also adjusted some of their prices. So, I'll probably tweak it further. Anyone who donates now, or really any time before now, whenever I adjust them, depending on what price you paid, you'll get the new rewards. So, if I go in and say the $75 reward is, this, and then later I come down and I add that, that, and that, you'll get that, that, and that. So, there's that. For people who aren't aware, we are playing some World of Warcraft music in the background. Let me actually take that down and bring it up because I can barely hear it. There we go. Alright. Let's see. Yeah, that's about it. Alright, let's get going. So, where we are. If you look at this top window up here, this guy, this is what is currently being output by the object, by the read system. This is, the data we're getting. And as you can see, that I+3, well, we need that to match the I+3s over here. Of course, I'm also noticing that the numbers, the data parentheses aren't quite matching up. So I need to see if I can't find... No? 460 and 4... Alright, so that matches up. But, hey, facial hair. So, we got the first number matching up. Yay. Now we gotta get the second number matching up. Here it's 204. Up here, let's see, 246 is negative 52. So, we gotta get that figured out. I'm gonna pull these off to the other monitor for a little bit. Let's see. This is the code as it stands right now. This is doing all that reading information that you just saw outputted. I is, of course, offset. And then... this is a program I'm trying to write that will read a Nintendo 64 Zelda character, or object file, and then let it import into different software. The original goal is to get it into Maya. However, I'm having so much trouble trying to convert the original script from Blender because I can't understand Blender. I have problems with it. So I'm trying to figure out how to get it to convert over. The problem is, I don't know how to do that. I'm trying to figure it out, but there's so many weird things going on with the Blender one. I decided, screw it, I'm writing it from scratch in C++. So that's what I'm doing now. And I'll, after I'm done building it in C++, I'll convert it over into Maya Python. And that'll be easier for me. I would like to apologize to my viewers. I'm going to have a little popsicle while we work. So, yeah, I know. Most of the nation's under snow, or, worse, and here I am having a popsicle. Really helps with sinus infections and such. And runny noses. This is the lime green one. I also have others. I have a mango cherry, not a mango, but a cherry pineapple. That one really helps with upset stomachs. Okay. So, I've determined pretty much what the problem is with this, and it's this little code right here. It's not reading the data out of file data properly. I mean, it can read the binary, it can read the characters just fine. And if we do the @ here, it reads the characters just fine. Unfortunately, as we can see here, even though it's an unsigned integer, meaning it should be from 0 to 256, we are still getting negatives. Now, this is true even if I remove the unsigned, so the question is how to fix that. Uh, we could try doing a cast. In fact, let's try that. Unsigned int. Alright. And it can't do that. It can't go from characters to unsigned int. But just regular int. Nope. Well, maybe there's something here. No. And if I build it, it crashes, right? Yep. Cannot convert from character to unsigned int. Alrighty. Got a cup right there. Alright, let's try this. We'll leave file at where it is, but then we'll come down here and do a +3 car. Or as I call it, +3C. We'll label it car. And we'll just do a raw read. So now we'll see, there'll be one more piece of data here. Maybe it will give us the info we need. Nope. Because as you can see, this stuff is crazy. Bitches be crazy. And this is the one, this is the line right here that we're looking at. The there we go. That's the line we're looking at. That is a weird character, but that translates into -52. Why is that? Alright, so we have that information. We don't need any of that anymore. So somehow we need to convert that character into a unsigned integer. Let's take a quick look on here. C++ car to unsigned int. Const p static cast. Oh, okay. Well, let's try that. So di3a constant car p equals at nope. Nope. Huh. Can I convert value car into constant car? Great. Alright. But let's try doing a static cast. Maybe that will work. Ah, there we go. So let's see what happens now. Nope, still positive, still negative numbers. I tried the at symbol, or the and symbol. The problem is I'm not sure how to get this to read from a character to an unsigned int. It reads to a regular integer just fine, even though it should be reading from an unsigned integer. I don't know, did I get these backwards? Signed is, no, signed is positive. 0 to 255. I'm positive of that. Not certain, but positive. At any rate, doing a static cast is probably a wise idea. Let's see what this does. Because that should be giving us more data too, because, yeah, it's not. If you look over here on, this is the, Thank you, Gravity. Yeah, so an unsigned should be positive, so it should get up to the 250s. But, you know, for some reason, it's coming in as a negative. But yeah, you look at the +3 over here, we get positives and negatives, and I +4 is always 0. You look at it down here, and we're getting like 6, 249. In fact, this is the line right here that we want to emulate. Is, you know, should be 6v6, 204, 249. Instead, we're getting 6v6, -52. I should be printing an int. I mean, I have them listed right here. Print F. I. Okay. So, let's see. Yeah, these are car. So, let's, but this, however, should be reading unsigned int. It's getting 0 all the time. But if I do this, mid, I +3, 1, and then 2, uint, and now I can get rid of these static casts. But it should work. I don't know why it's not. Alright, I'll try 4. No, it's not giving me anything. Alright, I'll give that a try. I should mention, Gravity, that I'm actually using the Qt framework. So I have a lot more capabilities. I mean, I have a Q byte array for file data. Oh, I see what you're saying. My data is trying to convert a single character when I should be converting it into a 4-byte character. Couldn't I just append additional data? mean, in theory, this should be what I need. But it's doing unsigned ints, or unsigned characters. Oh, abort. All sorts of problems there. Yep, found all sorts of rig. Alright, boom, boom. Ah, there we are. Okay. Let's try that then. Oh, not percent. Jeez. I actually don't have TeamViewer, so if you could just kind of walk me through it, it's probably better for me too, because then I'll be able to figure it out, especially for the future. Alright. So let's give that a try. Okay. How about just car? That's... Okay, so now I gotta mask it. Let's see, 0, 0. Well, how should I do that then? Because, you know, Q byte array is not... It basically sends me a character when I do an @. I think I can do DI3. Ah. What the hell happened there? Actually, I have something down here. It's, you know, basically the same concept. But we want... Yeah, probably that. If I'm right, that should mask it off. Probably not. Nope. I tried. From everything I've read, what I actually want to use is a file stream, but that I tried that earlier. I can't do that with a header file. So it causes all sorts of problems that way. Because otherwise I'd come down here and go file stream equals, you know, the file. But then I come back here and I can't access the file stream. I put the file stream here and it can't access it down here. So That's actually what I was working on right before the stream. And all the demos I see have it, you feed the stream the information, or you just have the stream working right there. I guess that means that I could just create a... Either need to pass the file, or I need to pass the stream every so often. I suppose an ideal situation would be being able to take the Q byte array and read it into a stream that I could access here. But I don't know about that. I've already proven that P will actually read out as a character. But the problem now... yeah, we need to change up how we do this. But again, we come back to the whole issue of, how do I get a file stream to be, accessed by everything? I mean, it's pretty much getting down to Alright, give me a moment. Oh, cool. They have an online version. Come on. Oh, my hard drives are slow today. Alright. Open. Install. Ah. No, this is C++. Yeah. Yeah, front end is interesting. Okay, 1 second. Let me get on something. Alright. So... Okay. Okay, I'm on Twitch, but I can't see the user. Ah, here we are. There you go. Okay. So we're going to wait for that to get going. So meanwhile, I'm going to take another crack at this. Actually, no, I'm going to do some research. Alright. Yeah, stream data seems to be almost the way I want to go. But it also feels like we're not getting all the information. Q stream. Oh, maybe just Q stream. Oh, wait. No, that's not what I want. Wait, where'd that go? Where'd that window go? Alright. Resending the data. Oh. Information I would give my younger self about coding. Learn C++. Learn C and learn C sharp. Apparently those are the big ones. Everybody who wants to do a job doing that is hiring in those fields. Front end stuff is also very popular in terms of jobs. Let's see. Yeah. Learning the .NETs will help you if you want to do programming for like a computer program. Let's see. If you learn C++, you'll figure out PHP and vice versa very easily. I'm trying to check my whispers. I don't... Okay, I got like 2 whispers groups here going. What the... Where'd the other one go? Ah, there it is. Okay, I just whispered you back with the information. Alright. Yeah. Wait, did I accidentally cancel that? Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I was just killing the... I thought I was just minimizing the screen. Alright, there you go. Look, hands-free programming. Oh, that's the soundtrack to World of I'm just playing that for the stream. I'll kill it. There you go. This is weird. Honestly, I don't know. I'm mainly doing this for my own edification. Uh, I'm trying to learn the stuff. It doesn't have to be really anything for me. I'm just trying to learn. The other thing to keep in mind is that learn the what's the words I'm looking for. I really want to move that to another screen. Learn the formatting standards. That's a big thing to learn. A lot of programmers have, there are some STD standards. I think that's what they are. Well, they're standards. But anyways, there's a lot of formatting standards for when you program. STL, that was the word I was looking for. Not STDs, STLs. And a lot of people actually want you to program in that, style. Learning that actually helps a long way with trying to get a job. Well, trying to get along with other programmers, I should say. Gravity, thank you so much for doing this, by the way. Okay, why are you doing that? Why are you removing the functions that I've written just to add new ones? Okay, now I get it. I was hoping to avoid that part, but... You could probably just uncomment the other one. It's just trying to read data out of... Yeah, get rigs only reads the data that we've already gathered. Locate rigs is actually, figuring out some of the data. Actually, no, wait. I think get rigs actually does read data later on. Yeah, I am rather impressed with how quickly he's doing this. Yeah, at the moment it's not doing much, but later it'll probably get data, but that's something we'll worry about then. It's nice how he's saving my functions just in case I can come back later and fix them. And he's using standard functions rather than the Q format stuff. QList is a nice simple way of having basically a standard list. Only it's a little bit easier to work with. Okay. Well, he's trying to get it so that the data will read properly, but he seems to be, basically rewriting my entire functions in order to make it work. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying it's not quite what I anticipated. He's leaving my original functions just in case I can get them working based off his working versions. Honestly, he's doing a lot more than I thought he was. I thought he would just get the data functioning so it can just be read. And I can figure out the rest. Actually, I have that functionality at the end of the locate rigs. All right, now we get to the bones of this issue. This is just still a little weird. Well, in a worst case scenario, I do have this all, well, most of it actually, set up in other ways. DI. File data.at is the way of pulling out the data almost at the location. At least that's what I can figure out from the at-byte systems. I need DI plus 3, and DI plus 4. Well, I plus 4. That was just an alternative method of trying to find the data. It always exported 0, though. It's never looked for, actually, in the original thing. Here, let me pull this over. This is the original Python function that we're trying to copy. And again, that's all in Python. So... That one was just so I could see the data, but only if data DI equals 6. So you want the one underneath that. So ignore that one. No, leave that in there. That way I can see the data. Yeah, that line is down a little bit farther. No, leave that one alone. And right underneath that is the one you want. Yeah. It's the same value. I just, did it as an enum to make it easier later on. Because I was looking at it in the Python code and I was like, what the heck is this for? And then I figured it out. And I made it into an enum so it was easier to understand. Unpack from greater than L basically means it's a big Indian long? U-long? I think it's unsigned. It means, big Indian long, U-long, I believe. If it was a little L, it'd mean just long. I don't know, size of unsigned long. I think it's 4. Jeffrey, honestly, if you could get into the mobile apps field, do it. Everybody seems to love mobile apps, and it's doing really well, apparently. So, if you can get into that, that's where the good money is. And a lot of people will pay for it because, especially if you can do front end on mobile. Although, frankly, if you want to make a lot of money, make your own apps. You're only getting them in small increments, but multiply that by the number of people you have downloading it. And let's say 5 people. Let's say you make an app and you put it up for say $1. Uh, let's also say that the companies that put it up for you, who host it, let's say Google Play, take 50% of that. Well, you're getting 50 cents a copy of the game. Now let's say 1 million people down buy your game for your app for $1. That's $500,000. So, yeah, app creation can be profitable. Of course, you also have to look at upkeep and paying all your people, and it can get pretty bad. This is still weird. The reason they did while instead of four is because they don't really have a four. Of course, it could be that I was mistaken about that, and it needs to be while, and that could be one of the reasons I did it. But four and while break at the same points, unless I'm mistaken. If you hit a breakpoint in a for loop, it would break just like it would in a while script. Actually, that would probably want to be an size of an int. Because it's trying to compare it to the number 6 again. Why are you doing C out instead of printf? I mean, they both do the same thing. All right. Just curious, because you're leaving all these other printfs, and then suddenly you did C out, and I was like, what? Why? Yeah. The print will print and then it will break. Oh, I put in a... Okay, yeah, I put in that semicolon. That was me. Python doesn't care if there's a semicolon at the end or not. To it, lines and indents are all that matters. I may not know much about Python, but I know, there's that. I have no idea why they're doing that. Why they're doing that J and then X66000. And that's why I use printf. It's easier to recombine those later. If you just change those to printf, they'll work just fine. You just got to change the percentage to comma. Here, let me... And leave that there. There you go. Yeah, I think so. Yes. It basically, if it hits this point, it said, "Hey, we found what we're looking for," and then it adds all this stuff up. We don't need a lot of that stuff. We just need to go, "Hey, we found it." That's After that, I can move on to other functions. So actually, here we'd want to add to the offset rig the I. Yeah, there you go. All right. All right. Let's... Oh, yeah, that's right. I saw this earlier. I wasn't going to mention it yet. And we're still having problems. Oh, okay. Yeah, those are the other datas we wanted to look at. So actually, I can fix that right now. Actually, that's easy to fix because we just do this. Yeah. Ah! I destroyed data. Alright. Now we'll try. There we go. And rig offset is empty. Well, we're not getting to that point because it's not, you know, IVJ isn't being hit. Yeah, that was their old code. I actually wrote that new stuff. Not sure why you're doing that again. Because you have that literally right above the line. You also have a WC out down below. Oh, yeah, it was my fault. Sorry. So that will fix that. Yeah, that's not going to work because it's got to be ran from the full file. And you can see here it's hitting ping 1. Ah, here we go. And this is actually why we had ping 1 off in my version. Yeah. So, come here, run this again. Okay, now it's only hitting 1. That's not right, considering what we want it to do is look more like this. Yeah, that right there is actually going off to read, you know, the hierarchy system, and that's something I haven't gotten near. I've been trying to get it so it actually recognizes the hierarchy data before I went off and tried to read hierarchy. So I want to say hierarchy found before I go reading hierarchy. And I want the numbers to actually match up with what Blender's outputting. But we're not even hitting ping 2. right. It's reading data from 2012. It's matching the first numbers. So, yeah, it matches data rig. Actually, it makes perfect sense. What first the number it's putting is the offset. Second, it's tracking the data rig. You're telling me that's not the file offset? Because in looking back up here, it looks like we're doing data size, so size of the data, unsigned int. This is asking for an integer. We output an integer. I should mention that I'm the one who actually wrote this code into the Python script in order to get the numbers out. And we're actually getting similar numbers out. The first is the file offset. The second number is the target number. The third number is the actual number that we're comparing it to. What does it do in Python? Exactly what it's doing in C++. It outputs the byte offset. It outputs 006 as a string. And then we're outputting the other one as a string simply so we know what the data is. It's so we can see that what 006 is versus what data I is. All right, so basically the printf I did gives us all the data of this first data if statement. That's what that's doing basically. And that one's the J version, which is down below. Now, something I should kind of point out is that in Python, when you create a variable, it's global at all times. In order to get the C++ version to work, I actually had to put in integer j up at the top. Because otherwise we could cause all sorts of problems. I have no idea why that automatically goes to that for you. But if you look, what you're doing right now is exactly what the printf is doing. You could just copy and paste that down. Because actually what I did was I copied it from C++ into Python to make it match. I get that. I'm just saying you're duplicating the data. You could just copy the line you have above. It's kind of a coin flip, Jeffrey. Uh, iOS is highly popular, but Android is very prolific. Or is it the other way around? I forget. Uh, Actually, if you have a choice, if you have the capabilities, do both. Because if you could create an app in iOS and then turn it around and create the same app in Android, that would actually make you much more valuable to any company. Because then you have that capability of going from one path to another. And also, they don't have to hire two people to do the same job. I will say, the more you can make yourself invaluable, the better chance you have of getting a good project going, a good job. Uh, but the inverse is that you also make yourself completely, vulnerable to people saying, "Hey, we can't do this without you." Hey, there we go. We're actually getting similar data. Actually, that's identical data. Because we come down here and take a look, 74, 460, that data is the same. Hey, thanks for following me, Jeffrey. Now the question is, why is the rig set empty? Oh, it's because we haven't adjusted that yet. Or is it? Oh, you're very welcome. Yeah, it's hitting that before it hits get rigs, so. It looks like the data is not being converted from an unsigned character yet. That was actually one of the reasons why I put a variable up above the DI and the DI 3 and 4. That way I could just type it out once, DI 3 equals, this, and then paste that into, both the text and the data sources. It may be that we have to do, int unsigned character data I whenever we do the data bits. And this is why I'm having problems converting from Python, because it's just fucking insane. Even worse is Python plus what's it? Python plus Blender. Rig offset still empty. Again, let me say this again. J needs to be up higher. It needs to be declared much higher so it is access to the whole for loop. I actually ran into that last time. Yes, I know it's available there in Python, but when Python declares a variable, it becomes accessible to an entire for loop. We can still set j equals the offset there, but we have to declare j up above before the for loop. Huh? Can I make a suggestion? I think we need to do int unsigned car on all the other data I+4 stuff, because that had the accurate data. I don't know if that'll work with unsigned car, but it'll might work with the unsigned car int. Yeah, one little change. I mean, I'm looking at that down here might make the difference. Of course, we have to do it to all of that. Which is why I actually had them assigned as a variable up at the top. And that's J, that's very different data. That's why I had the DIs originally, because they were my temp car. I just need to change them from int to car. Alright. If I rerun the program, it's just going to have that. I could actually bring up the Blender script, and you can see actually where the functional, where the data is actually found from their script. I think the data is like at 68 something. And we're not hitting that right now. Alright. Alrighty, let's see. And there's the hierarchy is 68, 960. And if we come over here to this script, you can see we're not even hitting that. Yeah, even when we were doing the earlier stuff, it wasn't hitting that. And that's why I had that data there. All right, let me actually, let me do this. All right. As we can see, that's only hitting one, while this is hitting several. You want to see both. Got it. I was actually having to only hit that one because, you know, why should it do anything if it's not already hitting it? Alright, and I believe that the Blender one was 8960, 8960, right there. So we're actually getting the stuff out from the data script. Yes, that's the same, but why is it not grabbing the rest of the data? Yep. I think it has to do with unsigned cars. Because we're grabbing data right there and it's not an unsigned car. I have no idea what that's doing, honestly. Honestly, I think the problem we're having is actually down in data J. That's where we're not hitting. Because it's not being interpreted as as an unsigned character. Yeah, we're not hitting ping 4 break J because, you know, either data J isn't a character, an unsigned character, or +3 or unpacked data. I also think you're trying to grab too much data from unpacked data. That should be an int, shouldn't it? Or a character. Shouldn't be all of the data. Maybe I'm wrong about that. I don't know. Yep, unsigned long. That would be data 4, basically. Wait, was I using a data 4 on that? I'll have to check that later. If you're wondering what that is, uh, earlier in their script, they actually had assigned it to a segment system. It's basically, they made a list, and they assigned uh, people, not people, but basically characters with rigs into 0x6 of that uh, list. Since we're just reading the data directly, we can bypass that, because that's basically putting it into a local storage container. That's all that the data equals self segment 6 is. It's a local storage container. Huh. Shouldn't, but okay. I mean, we're doing read-only data as far as I know. The file, yeah. Well, in our instance, it's a file, or the buffered data. That, like I said earlier, self segment 06 is a local container for the data. It's their buffer. Earlier in their Python scripts, they actually read the data into segment, segment 6. It's okay. And that's just going through all the data 4 bytes at a time, which is what we're doing. Honestly, I think you had it. We're getting the data right with the C out. I think we need to serialize that, I guess is the proper way to say it, so that we can just pump it into the other data. Also, I think accessing data J, we need to make that into an unsigned character. That's what I think needs to happen. Really? Hmm. Well, let's do this. Let's do a string. Let's print a string there. Something that gives us a little bit of the data, like the offset. Because as you can see in the original Python script, I actually do have a piece of line of text that will tell us the offset and the offset end. So I can re-enable that, and we can. To be perfectly honest with you, I have no idea what it does. I don't know enough about Python to tell you what it does. It might be a byte shift. I honestly don't know. You could look that up, and I'll set something up to print out the data. Okay. I mean, I can't very well, go look up what it is. Don't you need to do at, yeah, at data. There you go. We're actually getting a break. It's actually doing the comparison. Okay, I'm going to do something real quick. First of all, I want to kind of... no, I'll leave that there. Let's see. Alright, so offset and... yeah. Goes offset end. And meanwhile, Blender close. Waiting for Blender to reopen. All right, yeah. Import. Oh, forgot. Got to open the console window, then import. Actually, it doesn't really matter. I could do either or in either direction. Deku Princess, import. Alright, and Blender. Let's scroll back up. And there's our offset that we need. So now we have that. And we can compare that to this. Oh, did I actually compile that? No, I don't think I did. There we are. Offset that. Does that help? Yeah, every so often you just need to come in and do a little bit of, I don't know what the word is, aggressive programming. What's the difference between an int and a long? Because offset wants to be a long. That's what you're pulling the data off of. Okay. Well, that doesn't quite look right. Yeah, they want to pull offset out as a long and then shorten it to something different. Remember, big L equals unsigned long. Big Indian. Unsigned long. So I think you're not copying enough data out for the offset. Guys, I swear to you, this is not the stream I was planning on doing, but it's actually quite enjoyable for me. Okay. Huh. Bit more data. Alright, Blender it is. And here's that, just in case. Alright. Okay. Well, as far as I understand it, you're also, you should be reading an unsigned long rather than an int. And then, masking it. Okay. All right. I'm just going by what I see up there. And up there, they're doing an unsigned long. Which actually is different on a 64-bit system. It's interesting that those offsets are bigger than the file size itself. Okay. It means big endian, unsigned long in Python. That's what it means. Let's see now. I do occasionally have ideas of my own. I was trying to read the data. Yeah, I was wondering about something like that. Bit more data. Still empty. Good. Hey, I found a rock set. Huzzah! Thank you. Yeah, I was almost certain it had to do with byte swapping, but every time I read about it, it said... yeah. Yeah, I was almost certain of that. And I actually tried fixing that before we started all this, but apparently I got that wrong. Alright, so do I have to byte swap everything? Or just this stuff? Oh, forgot to comment that one out. And that is exactly what we have in Blender. Hierarchy found at those coordinates. Alrighty. Yeah, that is a little weird. Okay, then. Ah. So I would have to do that for everything, because there's probably more char bites to do. Yes. Thank you so much for all your help. Okay. All right. I'm gonna leave that comment because it keeps me understanding. All right, so we got all that working. So yeah, I can't thank you enough, Gravity. Thank you so much. Now that we actually have this section done. That just feels so much better. Now if only I can figure out how to translate it back into this stuff. But that's something I'll probably do on another day. So, I can't thank you, Gravity enough for all the work he did. Helped me so much. I will work on translating this back into QT without destroying a lot of the knowledge that he gave me. Yeah, it's 12 a.m. for me, so. But yes, thank you so much once again. I can't thank you enough. All right, that's it for tonight then. Thank you for watching. If you want to see more, you can go to the sites up here and watch me live. You can donate through Patreon up here. You can go donate to the PayPal, to the donate link down here. Oh, you're always welcome back, Gravity. Yeah, you hit the donate link. I actually have a new page for that in the works. Hopefully I'll be able to bring it online sometime soon. But it should give you links to Hitbox, Twitch alerts, and Patreon, so you can choose your method of donation. If you can, find a way to donate, something to Gravity Dancing. I probably would not have figured it out as quickly as he did. Thank you once again. I can't stop thanking you. All right, that's about it for tonight. If you liked it on YouTube, please like and subscribe. We do more videos like this, quite often, actually. Don't know if we're going to do programming tomorrow. Probably do a video game. Probably go back to Chrono Trigger, work on that a bit. Tomorrow's the big shopping day for me, so I'm going to go do that, and let's just see how much energy I have tomorrow. All right, thanks for joining me, and I'll see you all tomorrow at 10 p.m. Pacific time. Bye! There.